Yeah. Let's refresh. Get this going. There we go. 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 It's Kareem Hunt. There 3 yards. Penalty on Bosa. No play, so he doesn't even get the .7. Nice, okay. Paying attention to my fantasy here. I'm waiting for some people to get in here, hanging out. Hoping to get some people in here. I know there's some interesting games on right now. But if you're seeing this after the fact, just know, hey, just fast forward a little bit. We're going to start talking about it here in just a minute, one way or another. But, yeah, man. Yeah, just killing time. See, we got one person in here. Just trying to kill some time. Trying to keep an eye on the Chiefs game. I got Kareem Hunt playing for me. He's gotten the ball twice now in the last couple plays, and no play on either of them because of penalties. Finally gets a carry. Come on. They've been giving him the ball 1 more yard for a touchdown. Come on. What's up? Just waiting. Giving some people some time to hop in here real quick. Before we really start diving into it. What's up, man? Get to see the game. What do you think about it? What's up? This game is ridiculous. There are 3 penalties in the last 4 plays, I think. Crazy. Let's go. What's up? Appreciate you coming by. Appreciate you stopping by real quick. There we go. Kareem Hunt touchdown. Boom. That's all I really needed. It's good for my fantasy teams right there. Need it. Need it. That's a huge help, honestly. Brock Bowers already has 5 catches, 57 yards. That's good for my fantasy team. Good. And Andy Dalton has 41 yards and 2 interceptions. Down 20-0 with potential to get pulled. Seems like the most likely outcome there is for him to get pulled. But he's not. He's playing. He just completed a 16-yard pass. Whatever. All right. It's time. Keep that up just in case I want to see it. But we're just going to go ahead and get into this, okay? And people can see it when they see it. And hey, you may be asking, what is this? This isn't a microphone. What am I talking into? This, my friends. This is a mini helmet that I received courtesy of both Derek from the Lion Syndicate, who is the leader of the syndicate, the founder of the syndicate, the man who made the Lion Syndicate, has made it all. Courtesy of him. and his help in getting a partnership with Green Gridiron. Okay, Green Gridiron. That's their logo. Pretty sick logo. And they have some good stuff on their website. And if you're curious how to get something like this, they even have the new black helmets. They have the actual helmets, right? But like this isn't a helmet from Green Gridiron. This is a gift I got elsewhere. But Green Gridiron has like the same speed, Rydell speed helmets that the players wear. You know what I mean? So, and don't get me wrong, not cheap. Green Gridiron, like the big helmets, the replica helmets kind of things, are not cheap. You can just buy customizable helmets and build it however you want. You can buy just the helmet frame and then buy a separate face mask. Buy separate clips, buy probably separate screws if I had to guess, visors, of course, like chin straps. They have all kinds of different stuff. It's not just helmets. They have a lot of different accessories as well. So Green Gridiron, the promo link is in the description. And I will make sure to get it into the comment section whenever we're done recording here. I'll go back, make sure to put the link in the comment section. But of course, it's a live chat right now, no comment section. But Green Gridiron, got this. Going to be trying to show this off. I just like it, especially with the visor. I have a couple of mini helmets with Shaq Leonard's autograph on it. But none of them have the visor. Basically all the same thing. This one just has a visor, and it just looks a little different, right? Putting that blue visor on it. I just think this looks incredible. I'm very happy with the product. Made really well. Has some padding inside. I just very much enjoy the product. And again, that is Green Gridiron. The link for that is in the description. So you can click on that now, click on that later when we're done. I'll make sure to mention this before the end of the stream. But Green Gridiron, a new partner, the first partner for Colts Syndicate. Again, courtesy of Derek with Lions Syndicate with the hookup on that, and getting into business with Green Gridiron. So hopefully that's a partnership that can continue to grow, and hopefully you guys can benefit from that. Whenever I get a discount code, of course, I'll share that with you guys, especially if you want any of the bigger kind of helmets, be able to get a discount code for that and use that. But for now, again, the link for Green Gridiron down in the comment section. But now it's time to get into the games as I sit here just checking on the other games that are happening right now. Kyron Williams scored a touchdown for the Rams for anybody playing fantasy. And right now, I don't know. I don't think Jaden Daniels has come back. Suffered a broken thumb. Aiden O'Connell suffered a broken thumb. So I think Jaden Daniels probably going to be good to come back is what I'm seeing. Maybe a tweet from his mom or something. Yeah, hopefully Jaden Daniels can come back. I have him in fantasy. But nonetheless, let's start talking about the Colts. And today it was just a good day for the Colts, right? It was rough to watch. Just watching that game, it was a tough watch, man. We really, of course, couldn't get anything going in the first half, and got ourselves down in a hole early. But the defense, for everything we've said about them all year long, defense came out, did their thing, and we don't win this game today without the defense and what they provide for us. Right, getting a couple turnovers. Zaire Franklin ends up with the turnover in the red zone, the second one that he's had, second forced fumble in the red zone that he's had this season, where we ended up recovering it. So for Zaire Franklin, and that defense to be able to come out and make those plays, right? He finishes with 15 tackles. Grant Stewart with 17 tackles now. Linebackers getting that many tackles also means that your defensive line is getting pummeled and they're not stopping guys at or near the line of scrimmage. So defense definitely had their issues. I think, the rushing average. Let's see. I got the stats here. Why don't we just look at it so that I don't have to estimate it. Let's see here. Let's go team stats here. Actually, you know what? I bet box score will have it. Yeah. So this is exactly what I want. Okay. So when you look at rushing, Miami ran the ball 40 times for 188 yards. That is 4.7 per rush. Now, they didn't score any rushing touchdowns. They did have their first passing touchdown since week 1. No, first quarter, week 2, I think it was. Something like that, or second quarter, week 1, something like that. But it's been a very long time since the Dolphins scored a passing touchdown. We let them get one early in the game. Tyler Huntley threw a touchdown pass to Johnny Smith. Johnny Smith was really the whole passing offense for them. 7 catches for 96 yards. Alec Ingold had a catch for 25 yards down the sideline. We just kind of left him alone. But Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle combined for 2 catches for 19 yards, keeping them under wraps. Odell Beckham Jr., 2 targets, no catches. Like, outside of Johnny Smith, we did good. Now, why can't we stop tight ends? I don't know. It's been a pretty large issue up to this point, stopping tight ends week to week. Tight ends have been our biggest issue. And we play plenty more good tight ends coming up, right? Just guarding guys in the middle of the field is a big issue for us. So, again, 4.7 yards per carry is what we gave up, but we did have 30 sets. So combined, we ran the ball 77 times between the two teams. We ran the ball 37 times for 155 yards, 4.2 yards per carry. Now, everybody that carried the ball had a double-digit carry, though, right? Anthony Richardson, his longest, was 22. He had 14 carries, 56 yards. You got to expect, and I kind of expected that when Jonathan Taylor comes back, that number will drop. But Anthony Richardson, 14 carries, 56 yards. Tyler Goodson, 14 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. His longest was 19. AR's longest was 22. Trey Sermon, his longest was 11. Ashton Doolin had a carry for 12 yards. And Trey Sermon, 8 carries, 36 yards. Ended up figuring it out, but slow, man. Just slow. Very clearly, very slow. Man, I just saw the replay. As I'm sitting here looking at the stats, there's a little video on the side. Just showed the Deshaun Watson injury. And again, karma. Karma is what karma is. But, man, that's tough. Just went to take off in the pocket and just collapsed. That's crazy. But then Nick Chubb scores a touchdown. That's cool. But, getting back to us and what we were able to do, right? And I think, of course, a lot's going to get made of Anthony Richardson and, how he looked passing the ball and his numbers, right? 10 for 24. 129, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Like, it doesn't look great, right? Excuse me. And for a lot of the game, like, it didn't look great, especially in the first half. I think first half he was 4 for 13 for like 65 yards. Second half 6 for 11 for like 61 yards, something like that. It was something of the sort. Performed better in the second half. And we're starting to see what we see from a lot of different rookies. And Sco, I see you in here. What's up, brother? And you kind of heard me talking about this during the broadcast. But when you see a lot of young quarterbacks, they end up with these games where they're throwing 50, 55, and of course AR under 50% once again. But you know what I'm saying, 50, 55% completion, and they end up with 14 completions, 15 completions for 140 yards, right? And it doesn't look good. No touchdowns, an interception or two. You know what I mean? Like, you see that with a lot of quarterbacks. They're trying to figure it out because Anthony is a guy that wants to look down the field at all times. We're at a point with him where part of his development is, hey, man, at some point, you're going to have to figure out how to just take what the defense gives you, get us down the field, keep a drive alive. Defense got to breathe at some point. It's cool to make those big plays, and it's nice to have that. But at some point, you just have to play team ball. You have to play team ball. You're the quarterback. You got to figure it out over time. And I think that's where we are with Anthony Richardson. He needs to figure out how to take what the defense gives him, and I think he's still learning. Of course, the accuracy is a part of that, and getting his mechanics right. And I think in the first half you saw him come back after a couple of games off and getting antsy in the pocket again, right? And I know there was one specifically where it was the left side, his blind side, started to collapse behind him, and he felt it, and he really could have stepped into his throw and made a good throw down the middle of the field, and probably would have been a big play for us at or near midfield, going past midfield. I think it might have been Michael Pittman Jr. in the middle of the field, and whoever it was, but AR ends up just throwing it off his back foot because he's getting antsy in the pocket, throws it off his back foot, sails over the receiver, luckily into a dead spot. There's nobody back there to intercept it, but just overthrowing because his mechanics are off, right? And then I thought, they're under 2 minutes when we need to try to go get points, and has a great pass. I mean, perfect throw to Alec Pierce on the sideline, and Alec dropped it. So that doesn't help. Should have been 11 of 24. And, well, I think he ended up getting the pass yards anyway, so it would have been the same yards. But nonetheless, should have been 11 of 24 there. So that could have helped AR. But then, he ends up, right after that, boom, the throw to Michael Pittman Jr. down the middle of the field, over a guy, but in between another guy. Like, there wasn't room for error on that throw. If he overthrows that one is getting intercepted. There were plenty of people in that area, but Michael Pittman Jr. in a dead spot in the middle of some people. Anthony, great throw. And I thought from that point, right, coming out in the second half, it wasn't perfect throughout, of course, but I thought you saw Anthony start to settle down, start to make the right decisions. And just like Sko said, like, if you weren't there for the broadcast, for the people that are here, for the people that are watching this later, if you weren't there during the broadcast, just know Sko said that we need, and Shane needs to call it to where we can get Anthony more comfortable, right, and really get him into a rhythm in the game, right? We know he needs to work on his passing, so we're going to need to use his rushing, and that's kind of what I've tried to say before. It's like, we drafted him to run the ball. You have to let him run the ball. He needs to be able to protect himself, but you need to use him in his rushing ability. There was one run in particular that Tyler Goodson had that, just because the threat of Anthony Richardson, number 4 on the Dolphins, ended up going after and paying attention to AR, which let Tyler Goodson sneak in behind, and in between it might have been Trey Sermon, I don't remember, but whichever running back, sneak in behind number 4 and where AR was, and the tackle and the block that he had, he snuck in behind him, ended up getting like 6 yards or something, but it's those small things, that hidden yardage that AR can give you because of his running threat. You have to have that. He carries the ball 14 times again with Jonathan Taylor when he comes back. I doubt Anthony carries it 14 times. You're going to want to see Jonathan Taylor getting anywhere between 18 and 25, depending on how the game goes. And you want to see AR. You want to see him anywhere between, ideally, 5. If he doesn't have to get to 5, don't get to 5. But because of his scrambling and just getting us a few yards here and there, right? If he can get us sneak a few yards here and there on a pass play, and it gets him, 10, 11 carries, it is what it is. But really, like 8 at most. You don't really want to see. I don't want to see AR carry it more than 8 times until we know he's fully developed into a point where he can protect himself for the most part. And again, getting Jonathan Taylor back will certainly help him. But for the purposes of this game and what AR and this team was able to do, right? Again, it was rough for most of the game, but it's the constant improvement that you like to see. And again, I had a video just a couple days ago about the Jonathan Taylor effect and how important Jonathan Taylor is to what we're trying to do on offense. The kind of playmaker Jonathan Taylor is, where he can turn a negative gain into 12 yards. He can turn what most running backs would have a 3, 4, 5 yard gain, and he's going to find a cut, and he's going to find a jump cut to where he ends up making that a 35, 40 yard gain, right? Or possibly 25-yard touchdown, like against the Bears, 28-yard touchdown. So Jonathan Taylor, like, having him is obviously a game changer, right? We saw him turn back into the Jonathan Taylor we knew, and it had a big impact on what we were doing so far. And obviously, early in the season, not getting the wins. Oddly enough, we've won 2 straight games without Jonathan Taylor, which is great. Getting him back is going to be crucial. We have a crazy our schedule gets so hard coming up. It gets very difficult. So the development from AR, it could get ugly. We could be in a position where we come out of these next 5 games, and our record's not great. Just be fair warned. There's that possibility, right? But I just think it's also going to be good for AR's development. This game, good for AR's development, coming back, shaking the rust off, in the moment, figuring out, okay, these are things I need to make sure I'm staying aware of, the things I know I need to work on. And again, he's so young. He's only 22. There's so much mental development that's going to happen with him over these next couple years. Anybody, over the age of 25 understands, like, the kind of development that happens in the 20s, and he's 22 years old, bro. Like, just turned 22 years old just a couple months ago. So, so much development, and again, just like we continue to talk about, and just like I said so many times during the stream, it's that some of these games are going to suck, man. It's going to be hard to watch. Today was hard to watch for a lot of it, but it's we're probably not winning. Even if we start Joe Flacco, I don't know if we're winning the Super Bowl this year. So, and even with Joe Flacco starting, I don't know if we're making the playoffs with Joe Flacco starting. So, where I'm at is, you see how the team looks without DeForest Buckner, which we will definitely have a video about, and you see what the team looks like without Jonathan Taylor. And these different guys that are out, and I think it's actually a good opportunity for us in the future to be able to figure out, where we really need to build the team, seeing some of our best players be out, and how we need to work things to make the roster better from that aspect. But the current iteration of the team, still having trouble stopping the run. Again, defense only giving up 10 points, so it's hard to complain a lot. Big part of that, getting the turnover in the red zone, getting 2 turnovers, and we've done better with that. Being able to force turnovers is something that we weren't doing early in the season, but we've been able to do recently. Helped us out win the game last week against the Titans, helps us win the game this week. We were able to actually get a couple sacks in this game. Latu gets a sack, which is great. But overall, stopping the run is a problem without DeForest Buckner. And I think that's one of the big talking points about, like, how this team is built and how we've tried to overcome it. Of course, we have Grover Stewart, but when Defoe's not there, or when one of those guys isn't, we saw it last year when Defoe was there, but no Grover Stewart. Like, when one of those guys isn't there, we're completely screwed. And, I mean, that's, guys get rolled up on the offensive and defensive line all the time. The injury rate up there is so high because a bunch of big bodies banging together all the time, a lot of weight. When they drop on each other, like, the trenches is no joke. And I'm not saying that every team can withstand injuries to some of the best players at their position, right? Like, who we have there is good. You like, DeForest Buckner, one of the best at his position. Grover Stewart, one of the best at his position, and we're lucky to have him. Not everybody even has that, and it's not like you're just going to have those guys sitting behind there. But like a guy like Raekwon Davis, guy that was on the Dolphins, I'm assuming wanted to have a really good game going against the Dolphins. Early on in the game, he had a penalty. He was getting pushed around on that defensive line and getting put like he was not a three. He's like 350 pounds. He's a massive human. He was getting pushed around like a little kid. At least in a couple of the plays that I was watching and paying attention. I stopped paying attention after a couple because I was like, well, there's no way we can just leave him in. And then he got replaced by Taven Bryan not that far after. So, there are a lot of different ways that conversation can go. Again, I'm going to have a whole video on the effect of DeForest Buckner not playing. Just a lot that goes into that I've been thinking about. But I wanted to wait till I was going to make it for yesterday, but I wanted to see how we performed today and how things looked and see how we performed today. But still, I mean, we got to fix it for the future. And for right now, like something, we got to do something. We can't keep giving up all those rushing yards every single week. I mean, every week we're giving up a ton of rushing yards. Now, again, 40 attempts is a lot. But nonetheless, got to stop them. So going through some of the numbers here, they actually had more first downs than we did. They were 6 for 15 on third down. We were 4 for 13. Total amount of plays was roughly the same. Time of possession, roughly the same. Again, we forced one more turnover. We already went over yards per rush. They beat us there. Passing, they had more yards. I mean, there were a lot of different ways where we lost this game. I mean, just going through the numbers, like a lot of different ways where we could have lost this game. But again, that's why football, it's a team game, man. Offense, defense, special teams in especially the first quarter, but a lot of the first half, offense, defense, special teams was losing the battle, but we kept it manageable, right? 10-0. And that's partly because the Dolphins were shooting themselves in the foot and they're just not a very good football team right now. So, we're lucky for that coming out of this one, very lucky for that. But it's making plays when it matters, right? Being able to force 2 fumbles and to be able to recover them is massive, right? Getting timely sack, Latu getting a sack and putting them behind the chains. Like, there are certain plays that you need your best players to make at certain times, and we were able to do that just enough today, which is what we weren't doing in the first couple games. We were not executing. Right, in the game against Jacksonville, we didn't execute specifically on defense. Offense did their thing in that game for the most part. But really, like, a big thing for us this year has been execution. Right, and just being able to execute the easy things that you're supposed to do. If you get your hands on somebody, make the tackle. If the ball hits your hands, catch it. Again, Alec had the drop today. But nonetheless, most of AR's poor numbers is his own doing. And just executing. And I think the last 2 weeks has shown how a team that's trying to figure it out can keep winning as long as they execute, which is like the Chiefs last year. And not to say we're going to go on a run like the Chiefs did last year. Obviously, they have Patrick Mahomes, they have Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. Like, they have a very good football team. But last year for the Chiefs, they were battling it out week after week, but because they have good coaching, good quarterback, good leadership on that team, they continued to execute while they figured it out. And then the playoffs come around and, they execute, that they do the things that they're great at. They start going to Travis Kelce more. They start going to their playmakers more. And guess what? The things that they know they do well, they hammered at home, and teams couldn't stop them. So, I think we're at a point in the season where it's kind of where we need to be, right? Early on, not executing well. We're starting to execute better and win these ugly games if we can start to put it together, right? You see that small progression from Anthony Richardson now that he's come back and he got a game. We saw the rust early, starts to figure it out later in the game. It's still not perfect. We know he needs to work on stuff. So, boom, he's coming in. He knows he's a starter. So, coming into this week, work all week as a starter, work on the things you need to work on the mechanics, just like they had them working last week. Keep working on the mechanics. Make sure that you're not putting all your weight on your back foot. Make sure to keep that balanced frame, right? They're going to keep working with them. And week after week, just seeing the gradual development from AR is going to help this team ascend. And again, Jonathan Taylor presumably coming back next week. That's going to be huge for the team with him coming back. That changes everything, and that makes us much more dynamic on offense having him back in the lineup. So that's really I'm excited for next week. Assuming that comes back, I'm going to look up the schedule real quick. Okay. Boy, oh boy, I did not realize that we start this gauntlet of games with the Texans. That is very interesting because something I was going to bring up, and I guess now is the time to do that. Because the Packers beat the Texans today, Texans are now 5-2 going into Week 8. We are 4-3, and of course the Texans already beat us. So now we need to beat the Texans. We beat the Texans. Both teams go to 5-3. And at that point, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know exactly what the tiebreaker would be in the first instance, right? Whatever the first tiebreaker is. But I think we would at least, we'd be tied for first in the division. At the very least, we'd be tied for first. Right, I don't know if we'd be tiebreakered above them at that point. But we have a huge opportunity next week. Holy cow. I just realized we play Texans next week. That's huge. Okay, so, boy, that changes things. Yeah, they're 5-2. We're 4-3. Massive to get a win today when they get a loss. Shout out to the Packers for getting that done. Veldrin, see you in here in the comments, man. I appreciate you. In here letting your voice be heard. I'm sorry I'm not reacting to everything, but I see it as I'm going here. Appreciate you stopping in. Jeff, I see you stopping by. Appreciate you coming to hang out, man. KT, see you in here, slipping in there with the big win comment. Appreciate y'all coming to hang out. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. For those that weren't here earlier, you're probably wondering, holy cow, did Jeff get a new microphone? No, Jeff did not get a new microphone. Jeff got a mini helmet courtesy of Derek from the Lions Syndicate, the founder of the Syndicate, and his connection with Green Gridiron. And they decided that they would take a chance with us, and they partnered with the Syndicate. We have now a partnership with Green Gridiron. If you're interested in any of the mini helmets or replica helmets or the helmets that the players wear, some of these things very pricey, I will tell you, but nonetheless the mini helmets aren't terrible. You can get these with the visors. This one just came with the visor, which is sweet. I love the way this looks. Green Gridiron, it is in the description. The link is in the description. Make sure when you visit that, use my referral link so that they know that you're there through me. And so that, if you did happen to get anything, I would get my commission from the partnership. So, again, if you're interested, Green Gridiron, link in the description. Link is in the description. If you're seeing this after the stream, perhaps, it is in the comments. I will put the link in the comments, but I think this is sick, man. I love having this. Really like the look of the visor on it. I think that's sweet. At some point, I want to get one of the actual helmets that the Colts players wear. They won't have Nico Collins. Yeah, Texans won't have Nico Collins. That's going to be huge for us. 1,000%. He's been killing us. Up until he got hurt, he was the best receiver in the NFL this year, which is kind of crazy. Came out of nowhere, gets C.J. Stroud, and turns into the best receiver in the NFL, even with Stephon Diggs on his team. Yeah, well, and you remember last time AR was in Houston, bro had 2 rushing touchdowns in the first quarter, and just like Zaire Franklin said, like, we were about to blow y'all out. So, like, we'll see. We'll see. AR going into Houston. We'll see what happens, right? Number 2 and number 4 picks from 2023 draft going at it once again. Going to be the third matchup between the two. We have more depth due to injuries. Yeah, we definitely have more depth now than we've had in years past. I still don't think we're where we should be, and I think that's where Chris Ballard should take the most heat, is some of the depth on this team. But like we've dealt with so many. You expect injuries, but it's like for us, we get injuries all at the same position. Like a bunch of cornerbacks get hurt, a bunch of defensive linemen get hurt. Right, like it's all at one time. Like this week, we had 3 wide receivers on the injury report. It's like, come on, bro. Like, I know we're gonna deal with injuries. You can't just level it out a little bit, one here, which I guess now we're at a spot where, right, EJ Speed missing time, Juju Brents obviously missing time, DeForest Buckner. I guess we really haven't had wide receivers miss time because Michael Pittman Jr. is an absolute dog. Yeah, Anthony Richardson missed time. Jonathan Taylor missed time. Got some offensive linemen out. Yeah, we're kind of getting hit from all angles. It's like, come on, bro. You know, looks like Mariota is still in the game. Just checking up here. Kareem Hunt had another touchdown run, though. Is that right? Yeah, Chiefs are up. Kareem Hunt, 2 rushing touchdowns, 18.1 fantasy points. Love to see it. Love to see it. Need it. Let's go. Brock Bowers, 6 catches, 64 yards. Love to see it. Yeah, I should definitely win that matchup. Let's go, baby. Sorry, just checking up on these other games, seeing what's happening. I'm a fan of Jaden Daniels. Doesn't look like he's in. But, yeah. Let's get back to Colts football. AR has played them a few times. Before he just got hurt. Yeah, exactly, Veldrin. Hey, Adam, stopping by. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Colts Nation all day. That's exactly right. Colts Nation all day, baby. Let's go. Let's go, man. Yeah, you know what, Veldrin? I thought we had a lot of cap too. I saw something recently that said we only had like $8 million in cap space. But like, maybe I just didn't see a date on it. Colts current cap space. Yeah, I don't know what we did. Okay, I thought we were up at like $25-30 million in cap space also. We currently have $11.1 million in cap space. So I'm trying to think, like, did we sign anybody recently? I don't think so, right? I think we took care of guys in the offseason and then didn't do anything. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But yeah, we have $11.1 million in cap space. Do we sign somebody? And I haven't told anyone yet. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we did. It might just be because some of the way the numbers works, and you know, if he's on the roster by this date, he gets more of a bonus. Maybe we had money and now we don't. You know what I mean? I feel like it has to be something like that. Because we would have heard about if they did a deal with somebody. Yeah, I feel like we would have heard it. But nonetheless, Yeah, we have Texans, Vikings, Bills, Jets, Lions. A lot of tough games, and the Broncos, Bo Nix continues to develop. Okay, people over those first 4 games for Bo Nix, people were already saying Bo Nix isn't the guy. They made a mistake. They need to bench him. He's not ready. He's starting to turn it around. He doesn't look like a superstar, but he's starting to turn it around. Broncos defense helping him out, keeping the points low lately. That could be a tough game later in the year against the Broncos. But then later in the year, we also have, Patriots. We have the Titans again. We have the Giants. And then Jaguars in Indy. Jaguars in Indy shouldn't be a problem. When the Jaguars are trash and they go to Indy, they get beat. Okay, it's in Indy, which is good. Last game of the season is not in Jacksonville. It's Jacksonville in Indy. So, well, as long as we keep hope alive up until that point, maybe we can actually win the last game of the season and make something happen. Lions are beatable. Lions are definitely beatable. Without Aiden Hutchinson, again, I'm a big fan of the Lions. I feel like a lot of people are, right? Lovable losers, been down for a long time. Even with Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford, they can never really get over the hump and go win a playoff. They never even won a playoff game. So I think they're gettable also. But I do like that team. I think that is going to be a tough game later in the year when teams are trying to figure out, we're getting playoff ready at this point. Especially the Lions going to be looking to get playoff ready. They are about to be the number 1 team in the NFL now, I believe. After that win, maybe the Chiefs are still unbeaten, maybe. But Lions are really good. So yeah, we have some tough games coming up. Starting again with the Texans. Texans 5-2. We're 4-3. We could be tied coming out of Week 8, which would be incredible. But for the purposes of this one, going against the Dolphins, it wasn't perfect. Not a perfect game here. But at the end of the day, again, able to execute the progression of this team to figuring out how to win games, just being able to execute the most, right? And week after week, we have to get better with that. Anthony's got to hit throws. You can't be 10 for 24 and expect to win games, okay? We don't have any teams coming up in the near future that are as bad as the Dolphins. So we got to figure it out going forward. We got to be better going forward. We got to continue to develop with AR, but it will be AR. That's the main talking point there. It will be AR going forward for the future. As much as you want to see Joe Flacco play, Joe Flacco even said that Anthony Richardson needs to be playing. He needs to get the reps. So that's the situation right now. Good to get a win. It's going to feel real good laying the head down tonight, knowing that we were able to get the win. We're now above 500 for the first time this year, which is great news. So, and Anthony comes out of this game still healthy. So, love that. Victory Monday, going to feel sweet. Got plenty of content, got plenty of stuff that I want to talk about as we continue to go along. I have video ideas in my notes section. And now that we're all the way back, right, I'm going to have some time over these next few days. Still not working. Still not going to be working over these next few days. So, with that, gonna have some time, gonna get some content done, want to push some stuff out to you guys. So yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by for this. Make sure to stop by for any more content. Be subscribed, hit that like button for me if you're stopping by. One of the best things for this, for the YouTube algorithm and for the YouTube channel to continue to thrive is to hit that like button anytime you stop by for any stream or any video. Slapping that like button is a big help. Of course, hitting the subscribe button, having notifications turned on, all that certainly helpful. So, yeah. Again, I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by for this post-game stream. Again, Green Gridiron, man. Go check it out. Use my referral link. Anytime you go to Green Gridiron, try to come back to the channel, use my referral link to go to Green Gridiron so they know you got sent there by the Colts Syndicate. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.